didn't want me to be a pipe maker at first. You know, no, like him and all of his peers were kind of like, oh, dude, like don't do that.
What did I do? I corrupted him.
You know, a little bit. And nowadays they're like, dude, fucking run with that shit.
Yeah. Welcome, Robertson Stash. What was that like growing up in a hot shop?
Man, you know, back whenever I was just a kid, it was my dad's job. You know, and
normal for you. Yeah.
It was just normal. You know, I think about it a lot. Like, man, the exposure was so good, though. I think it really helped me kind of pay the way. But yeah, whenever I was just a teenager and, you know, slowly starting to work for him, it was just a small paycheck. It was a way to get like a bag of weed or a skateboard at the time.
What were you doing to like when you started working for him?
For him, I was just a punny boy. You know, yeah, totally. Shielding some heat, just gaffering,
cool.
Exactly.
Nice. And when was that? Like, when did I
start working for him?
Yeah.
Gosh, whenever I was about 14.
14?
Just dumb, getting in trouble. You know, I remember, kind of getting a few small fines and him being like, hey, dude, you're going to work this off.
Okay, so
like, you're getting in the shop.
Made you work a little bit.
Exactly.
Do some hard labor.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, dude, if you're going to do dumb grown-up shit, you're going to get in here and pay for it.
Did you pick it up right away because you've been around it?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I dipped up.
Knew what you were doing, the process
a little bit. And I had been watching him my whole life. You know, I dipped up soft glass, I think it was my 6th birthday. I got like a little mini blowpipe for my birthday present.
6 years old? Wow.
Yeah,
you took your first gather?
Took my first gather at 6.
That's how old my daughter is. I can imagine.
Right.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So what'd you do with it? Just
at 6, I think just dipped up some and marvered it around.
After,
Yep.
Very cool. Wow. So that, did you always know you were going to be a glass artist, or was there a moment when you're like, hey, I might do this as a career?
Man, it wasn't until I was probably like 18.
18?
You know, from about 14 to 18, it was like 3 days a week with him.
Yeah. Soft glass only?
Soft glass only. Okay. Yeah. And I was always intrigued by pipes. You know, I'd seen a couple people working on a torch and was always like, whoa, what's going on there? It's not as, you didn't need to have a whole studio built around it. You could kind of work just off of a bench. It could be just a solo project and not have to have a whole team around it, you know? Where I'd watch my dad have, 3 different assistants, kind of in rotation. It was a lot going on. And as soon as I seen some people on the torch, I was just mesmerized.
Yeah. It's a little more attainable. Like, I remember I went to school for soft glass, and it was like, however many $10,000s of dollars to get the glory holes and the furnaces and the space, the ventilation. It was like overwhelming. So flame working, something you can do on your own, relatively cheap.
Absolutely. Yeah, it drew me in.
That's cool. So is this all out in Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Right outside of St. Louis.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when was the first time you flame worked?
Probably, I would take his little like knockoff little like he would just use it to like heat up his punny marks.
Okay.
And so
like Nortel or something, or
I mean, I can't even think of what that torch is. I should know. But yeah, just a little crack off torch, like little beater's torch.
Yeah.
And I would take some of his like old pulled down stringers, and I was just making little mandrel beads.
Oh wow.
Just because like I said, I'd seen a couple of people working on a torch, and I was like, whoa, this is so badass. It was just kind of like a way to get my, toes wet in it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of
where mandrel beads.
Yeah, that's how it all started.
Very cool.
And then met a couple pipe makers out on lot, and right away I was just like, whoa, dude, you guys are making blown vessels and shit. It took off from there.
Yeah. So then you got into Boro?
Yeah. I was lucky enough. John Holloway and then Seven. I think Seven's kind of given it up. He's like selling cars nowadays and whatnot. Really? But yeah, it was those guys who kind of gave me a foot in the door in the pipe scene.
And what year was this, do you think?
That was
getting into it?
2010. I was graduating high school.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool. So, I mean, that's definitely some pros about having a professional glassblower for a dad. Was there any like cons, do you think? Like,
for that, I mean, dude, he didn't want me to be a pipe maker at first.
He didn't?
No, like him and all of his peers were kind of like, oh, dude, like don't do that.
What did I do? I corrupted him.
A little bit. And nowadays they're like, dude, fucking run with that shit. It's fun having them around. Like, hey,
they encourage you.
Show me how to make one of these pipes.
No way.
So yeah, it's fun.
So you're showing your dad how to do some boro work?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he hops on the torch. He's got my old, Delta Elite, that I just kicked down to him. And yeah, he farts around on it.
Very cool. Does he still have the hot chop too?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Yep. That's in full swing.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Robertson Stash podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to support us, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we want to hear from you. So if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out. Hit the website, hit the link. We'll see you next time.